Okay guys, I'm back again, and right off the back I apologize for this poor lighting. I'm using my Sony Bloggy, which really doesn't have too much adjustment for white balance, and this is just a poor area for recording videos. But doing this video to show some of the emergency lighting and power items I have in case of any type of power outage or roadside emergency. Just doing this video because I got a question about it, and I'm just going over a few of the things that I have to give ideas, to anyone who may want to expand their emergency power kit. So up top here I have a few examples of power packs. I have smaller ones, little portable ones that you can carry in a laptop case, something like this Xantrex Power Source Mobile 100, which has a little small tiny battery in there. Very short run time. I would say with less than a 20-watt load, I'm getting maybe about an hour and a half out of it. That would probably work best as a temporary setup for a cordless phone. When the power goes out, your cordless phone may be out, but you can also use that, since it has the USB chargers, to charge your cell phone a couple of times. The other power packs have a little bit more battery life going on with them. Those are also going to have 12-volt sockets out, so you don't have to just depend on USB or the power inverter, because the power inverter wastes a lot of energy just running to convert 12 volts to 120. So what I do with these mostly is run 12-volt accessories. You can find these little automotive fans to run in case of a summer power outage to keep you nice and cool. Even though I have a generator, I generally run the little 12-volt accessories at night in case of a power outage, because of the potential, the fumes and the hazard that comes from that. And also, I don't like to run my generator at night. I also have some 12-volt lighting. Have about 3 of these. It's a converted lamp with a 12-volt bulb in there, hooked to a 30-foot cord and a male 12-volt socket. So if you utilize that in cars or anything else that has the little 12-volt socket. Some extra things on these is going to be they have some lighting to them. The two larger units here have area lights, and the two yellow units have radios, AM/FM on that one, and AM/FM weather band on this one. Also have a little USB fan, which goes with, it can work with this device, the little power source unit there, but it's mainly for my little USB power packs, which I'll show you in just a second. First shelf here is going to be mainly my high-end lights. I wouldn't really consider these emergency lights, since really I'm the only one that's going to be using them. They're mainly powered by 18650 or CR123 cells. I do have quite a few regular nickel metal hydride AA, AAA cells that work, but the problem with these lights is they're high output, very small size, so they do tend to overheat. They get pretty hot if you leave this light unattended. You can actually leave any of these lights unattended, you can end up damaging the light and the battery. And these lights aren't cheap. I have some pretty high-end lights here. Nightcore, Next Torch, Jet Beam, Rofus 47s, Zebra Light, Sunway Man. Just a whole bunch of high-end lights up front here, and then I have some throwers back there. Crelent 7G5 CS, Pre-XML U3, some various Ultrafire lights, which, even though they're inexpensive, if you leave them running unattended with a decent battery in them, they will overheat and possibly damage the battery and the driver. So these generally aren't used for emergencies. They're really just EDC lights for me, or my larger lights are just used for throw purposes, but not really emergencies. For emergencies, I like to keep the lights in the second and third row here. The lights here are usually AA or AAA powered. Very common sales. They don't get too hot. The most powerful light I have here produces 200 lumens, so it doesn't really get all that hot. You can find the AA and AAA batteries at most stores, even during power outages. You can probably find a couple of pairs. If not, you can always take them out of your remotes. That's the convenience of them. Also have some rechargeable lights here. Two of them are solar rechargeable lights. They have good and bad things about them. The good of them is, of course, you can recharge if there's no power, but you have to have relatively good weather in order to get a full charge in a day out of them. Sometimes it can take 2 or 3 days to charge them. And there's also the maintenance element. If you don't keep these lights fully topped off, charging them every month or 2 months, the batteries can actually die out, and you would have to replace the batteries, which on the yellow light is impossible because the company went out of business some time ago. Luckily enough, my batteries still work. And the other light there, I think that just takes a standard lead acid battery. Shouldn't be too hard to find, but these things always go wrong at the worst possible moment. They'll probably be flat dead during a power outage if you don't properly maintain them, so I make sure to do that. Here's a USB lantern, pretty cool. Has a top touch sensitive button as well as a side, and you can hold each button and it ramps down to a lower brightness level. Charges off a USB. Let's turn it off. I have the USB cell phone chargers. One is solar powered. Same story with the solar lights. Takes maintenance and takes quite a while to charge from solar. A Linmar unit here is actually pretty cool. It can charge from a standard micro USB cell phone charger, but it also has a male cigarette lighter adapter built into it, so it can charge directly from, you know, a power pack or a car socket, and while the battery's charging, it can actually run USB devices. And another cool thing about it is it has a small 4 LED flashlight, not very bright, but will get you through most dark situations. Some lights you could pick up just about anywhere are these little Life Gear 400 units. They take three AA batteries. Produce only 12 lumens, but they have a pretty nice reflector, so it casts light pretty far. Really nice tight hotspot. They also have storage in the base for extra batteries or bandages or medication in case of an emergency situation. You keep these in the house, a car, or a boat. They do have a water switch, so if they happen to fall in a puddle or in a lake or something like that, they'll float and they'll turn on so you can find them. It's a little unique light here. It's actually something that's pretty new on the market. This is something that is going to be replacing all of my fluorescent tubes soon. Like this light here. This light takes 8 AA batteries and doesn't last very long, and it's nowhere near as bright as this unit, which is using a lithium battery similar to that of my flashlights, but it produces 120 lumens for 3 hours. It has a medium mode. I'm not too sure of the lumen output, but that lasts for over 7 hours, and then the low I haven't tested. Pretty darn bright in comparison to a fluorescent tube because it's using Cree LEDs, and pretty nice output. Has a automotive style and a wall socket charger to it. Costs about $14. I got a little bit better deal because at the time the seller on eBay was selling those in the auction, so I ended up buying 8 units for very little money. Back here, it's also something you might want to consider. I have a power failure little plug-in light. Plug that in. You can find many brands. The brand I like best is the Durofix because it uses high-end lithium batteries versus nickel cadmium or nickel metal hydride. It's a little bit more energy going on with it. Really bright. Has this multiple LED panel that actually focuses into a tighter hotspot than I would think. Has 2 settings. Runs for a pretty long time. You can see this one has been used. It's kind of dirty. Just put it on the shelf for this video. Work lights, stay away from those. They're really hard to charge mostly. Most of the ones I have only charge them AC, and they only give you a few hours of battery life even in their low mode. Little small lanterns, D-cell battery lanterns are probably the best thing you can get because they last somewhere around 20-30 hours off of either 4 or 8 D-cells, and you don't have to worry about maintaining them. Just keep a pack of long life Duracell batteries which have 10-year shelf life and you'll be set. Just keep those separate from the lantern in their pack and you'll be all set. Moving down, there's some more work lights just because I have them, but what I mainly want to show you on this shelf is the large D-cell flashlights. If you're going to get a flashlight and you want something that's going to last a little bit longer than a AA may give you 6 or 7 hours, go for a large D-cell flashlight because these are generally going to give you anywhere from 15 to 20 hours. This Dorsey unit here takes 3 D-cell batteries and lasts over 20 hours. Pretty bright, has 2 outputs, a high of 200 lumens and a low, which I'm not too sure what that output is. Has a power indicator that turns red when you have less than 20%. But what's nice about these, again, is the capacity. Average D-cell battery is going to give you 10,000 milliamp hours or 10 amp hours versus a AA battery, which a super high capacity of that will give you roughly 3 amp hours or 3,000 milliamp hours. So you get much longer runtime out of the larger cells. You can also choose the C-cell batteries. Those offer slightly less capacity than a D-cell, anywhere from 7 to 8,000 milliamp hours or 8 amp hours, and again, similar battery life, similar performance. Down here I have some spotlights, really not good for emergency use because they take a very long time to charge. They have larger SLA batteries in them, and they generally take overnight to charge, and they don't last that long. They're usually very high powered. The center unit there produces 3,000 lumens. It's an HID spotlight. Only lasts for a couple of hours before you have to recharge it, and that takes somewhere close to 24 hours. I do have a 500 lumen LED spotlight. Same story there. Takes pretty much all night to charge, so those wouldn't be good for power outages. Just really for spotlighting fun at night out in the field or something like that. The bottom shelf there is really just some ammo and a couple of radios. Those are both hand crank radios with lights, and I think one of them has a USB charger. But pretty much with those, I would just stick with the radio. The radio actually uses less power than the lights on these, and just a minute of cranking gives you around 20 minutes of radio listening, again for emergency use. So that's just my take on emergency items, just the general ones that are on the market, and hopefully you guys got some ideas of things that you might want to pick up. So thanks again as always for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.